So, tip one, and I kind of thought about this as more audiophile therapy, 10 tips to help cure audiophile nervosa.
Hmm.
So listen to yourself is tip one. And I don't mean that in a way to think about, oh, don't read reviews or don't listen to YouTubers or anything like that. But literally, when you set up your speakers, uh, one of the most effective approaches I've learned over the years is by listening to your own voice or listening to the voice of another person. It helps if you can do this with two people and have that person who's speaking act as if they're the speaker, the loudspeaker. So start them off where the speakers are roughly going to go in your room, and that person just should be speaking towards you and walk into the room. And there's going to be a point where you're naturally going to say, stop. They sound the best in that spot. They have the deepest voice. If it's a guy, you want hear that depth of voice, that chestiness. You're going to hear the least amount of reflections in the voice. It's just going to sound more natural. You know it intuitively. There's no golden ear training involved in this technique. You just know what the voice should sound like, and so have that person walk towards you from where the speaker is going to be roughly positioned, and that's going to be the first spot where you should set your loudspeaker. And within a few inches, that's going to be where your speaker is going to end up and sounding best in the room. And we've confirmed this by using real-time analyzers and other measuring techniques that you hardly ever do better than that. And compared to a lot of ways to set up speakers, and while we're on the subject, I do recommend checking out my buddy Will Klein's video on their speaker setup technique, which we have also used to be very effective. But this human voice technique works. I think Wilson Audio uses this. It's definitely effective, and it will cut down on the amount of time it takes to set up your speakers. So that's tip number one.
So real quick on that particular tip, listen to your own voice. I think that's great, and I have some nice mics, and a lot of times I'll test stuff out, headphones and things, based on how does my voice sound. Like I know what my voice is supposed to sound like, right? And I can get some feedback. When you're doing this technique, it's two people, or you hearing how your voice sounds when
It's
you're walking
way easier
close?
when it's two people. So like my colleague Ben Newhall, who you've met, when we do
Mhm.
trainings around the country, one of us will sit down roughly where the audience is going to sit, and the other will be the speaker. It's
Mhm.
much faster to do that.
Mm.
But if, hey, sometimes you don't have a friend or a spouse or whoever around the house,
There
you'll
you go.
still hear it by yourself by walking into the room. Even from that position where the speakers are going to be, you can hear that, wow, okay, there's something different about my voice in this spot, the way it's reverberating in the room, the full range aspect of your voice. And that's a great shortcut. It's a shortcut that actually works to getting proper speaker set up.
What an awesome tip. Thanks, man.